I remember the exact moment my carbon frame slipped out of a cheap, wobbly repair stand, crashing onto the garage floor while pinning my thumb. It was a painful, expensive lesson. Buying the right bike stand is a nightmare of misleading specs and flimsy plastics that simply cannot hold modern bikes securely. I decided enough was enough. I gathered the top options on the market and put them through the ringer to find out which ones actually protect your ride. Stick around, because the #1 spot completely changes the game for heavy bikes. 7. Yaheetech Bike Repair Stand. When I first unboxed this stand, I was hoping for a budget-friendly miracle, but my hands-on testing quickly revealed some harsh realities. The assembly process is straightforward enough, utilizing a 4-leg folding base that includes a handy magnetic tool tray. The tray is a nice touch for holding loose bolts, and the telescopic height adjustment gives you a decent range to work with. However, the overall construction relies heavily on basic steel tubing and plastic fittings that simply do not inspire a lot of confidence for long-term use. Once I mounted a standard road bike on it, the stand immediately showed its limitations. The plastic clamp, which is arguably the most critical component of any repair stand, feels unrefined and somewhat awkward to operate. It struggles to provide a smooth, incremental grip, making it a stressful experience when you're trying to secure a delicate frame tube or carbon seat post without applying crushing pressure. You end up constantly second-guessing whether you have tightened it just enough or entirely too much, which is never a feeling you want when handling expensive bike components. Stability is another significant downside that I experienced firsthand during basic maintenance tasks. While the 4 legs look like they should provide a solid footprint, the stand suffers from noticeable sway the moment you apply any real torque. If you're trying to break free a stubborn bottom bracket or wrestling with a tight pedal, the whole structure flexes alarmingly, forcing you to use one hand just to brace the stand itself so it doesn't tip. This defeats the entire purpose of a hands-free workstation. Ultimately, the Yaheetech serves as a stark reminder of why you usually get exactly what you pay for in the world of tools. 6. CHEPARK Bike Repair Stand. I brought this one into the shop hoping that its advertised 80-pound weight capacity would translate into a burly, reliable workhorse for my heavier rides. The initial impression is slightly better than the absolute budget options, featuring a heavier overall build and an aluminum alloy main pillar. It also folds down relatively compactly, which is a feature I always appreciate when trying to save space in a crowded garage or when throwing it in the back of a car. Despite the promising spec sheet, testing this stand with a mid-weight mountain bike quickly exposed its functional flaws. The 360-degree rotating clamp sounds fantastic on paper, theoretically allowing you to position the bike at any angle. In practice, however, the locking mechanism for that rotation simply cannot handle the leverage of a bike clamped by the seat post. When I tilted the bike to bleed the brakes, the teeth on the rotational lock slipped multiple times, causing the bike to suddenly pitch forward without warning. The clamp mechanism itself relies entirely too heavily on subpar materials that compromise the user experience. It uses a quick-release style lever that requires excessive physical force to lock securely into place. During my testing, I found myself wrestling with the lever, trying to find that impossible sweet spot where the bike wouldn't slide, but the clamp wouldn't crack my components. It is a stressful balancing act that you simply do not want to deal with when you have thousands of dollars of gear suspended in the air. Furthermore, while the base is technically a tripod design, which usually helps on uneven surfaces, the legs lack the wide, sprawling footprint needed for true stability. 5. BikeHand Bike Repair Stand. The moment I set this stand up, the difference in manufacturing tolerances was immediately noticeable. Crafted from a blend of lightweight aluminum and sturdy steel components, this stand strikes an excellent balance between portability and structural integrity. It is astonishingly easy to fold and unfold, snapping into its working position with a satisfying, secure lock that instantly makes you feel much better about trusting it with your bike. Testing the clamp on the BikeHand was a surprisingly pleasant experience after dealing with lower-tier models. It utilizes a highly functional quick-release rotating head with a micro-adjust knob that actually works exactly as intended. I was able to dial in the perfect amount of clamping force on various seat posts, from thick aluminum mountain bike posts to delicate carbon road pillars, without a single moment of anxiety. The jaws are well padded, gripping the bike firmly while protecting the finish from any scratches or scuffs during intensive work. What really impressed me during my time with this stand was its exceptional stability on the ground. The two-leg design relies on a massive, wide stance that creates an incredibly solid foundation. Even when I was aggressively scrubbing a filthy drivetrain and yanking on the cranks, the BikeHand remained planted, refusing to wobble or walk across the garage floor. The addition of a magnetic tool plate is perfectly positioned, keeping your hex keys and small parts exactly where you need them at all times. This stand represents the sweet spot for a massive number of home mechanics looking for a serious upgrade. It delivers professional style features without demanding a professional level budget. 4. Park Tool PCS10. 3. Unboxing anything in that iconic Park Tool blue brings a certain level of expectation, and this stand absolutely delivers on its storied reputation. It features an incredibly robust steel tube construction with a teardrop-shaped main pillar. This specific tubing shape is brilliant because it completely eliminates any annoying twisting or side-to-side play when the stand is fully extended, keeping your bike exactly where you position it. The clamping mechanism on the PCS10 3 is where you truly feel the professional lineage of the brand. It uses Park Tool's famous cam actuated micro-adjustable clamp, allowing for rapid entry and exit while providing absolute precision in pressure control. During my testing, I could slide a bike into the jaws and lock it down firmly with one hand in mere seconds. The narrow clamp profile is specifically designed to fit into incredibly tight spaces, making it an absolute lifesaver when working with modern dropper posts that offer very little exposed tubing. Working on a bike held by this stand is a remarkably solid and satisfying experience. The open-face tripod base provides massive clearance for pedals to spin freely without striking the main upright, which is crucial when you are tuning derailleurs or diagnosing drivetrain issues. I put this stand through a grueling day of full teardowns, and it never flinched. The quick-release height adjustments are smooth and require minimal effort, allowing you to transition effortlessly from working on the bottom bracket to adjusting the headset. Everything about the PCS10 3 feels purpose-built for longevity and serious, heavy-duty use. The glass-filled nylon composite fittings are incredibly tough, and the steel is finished in a durable powder coat that resists chips and scratches beautifully. 3. Feedback Sports Pro Mechanic Bike Stand. From the instant I picked up the box stand, I was blown away by how incredibly light it is in the hands. Constructed entirely from premium anodized aluminum, it weighs merely 12 pounds, yet it boasts an astonishing weight capacity that expertly handles everything from featherweight road machines to bulky downhill rigs. The metallic red finish is not just visually stunning, it is incredibly resistant to the harsh chemicals and degreasers commonly used in bike maintenance. The true star of the show here is the patented push-button quick-release clamp. Using this feature feels like upgrading from a manual transmission to a hypercar paddle shifter. You simply push the jaws shut with one hand, and they instantly ratchet tight against the seat post. When you are finished, pressing a single release button springs the jaws completely open. During my testing, this saved so much time and eliminated the awkward one-handed juggling act of holding a heavy bike while frantically twisting a knob. Stability is flawless on this model, all thanks to the wide, stiff, traditional tripod base. Because it is a true tripod, it excels immensely on uneven terrain outdoors. I took this stand out to a local cyclocross race, set it up on a sloped, muddy grassy hill, and it remained perfectly balanced and steadfast while I power washed thick mud off multiple bikes. The premium aluminum construction also means you never have to worry about rust, no matter how wet or grimy your washing sessions get. The Pro Mechanic is the ultimate companion for the traveling cyclist or the apartment dweller who needs to stash their gear in a tight closet. 2. Park Tool Team Issue Portable Repair Stand. If you have ever watched professional mechanics furiously wrenching in the pits at a World Cup race, this is very likely the exact stand they are using. Pulling this out of the box, you are immediately struck by the no-nonsense, heavy-duty aluminum construction. It utilizes hex-shaped aluminum tubing, which acts much like the teardrop tubing on their home models, ensuring absolute rigidity and zero rotational flex under the heaviest loads. The clamp on the Team Issue stand is a masterpiece of mechanical precision and reliable holding power. It features a fully professional grade micro adjust linkage clamp that grips tighter and smoother than almost anything else currently on the market. When testing this with a delicate, ultra-thin carbon seat post, the tactile feedback from the adjustment knob allowed me to apply exactly enough pressure to hold the bike firmly without risking any structural damage. It operates seamlessly, ensuring your bike is secured safely in a matter of seconds. What elevates this stand to the highest professional tier is its unbelievable stability combined with 360-degree rotation that actually holds its position flawlessly. I mounted a 30-pound enduro bike, rotated it completely upside down to access the intricate lower suspension linkages, and the stand did not creep or slip a single millimeter. The aluminum legs deploy quickly and create a massive footprint that anchors the entire structure, allowing for high-torque applications like removing seized pedals without a second thought. Despite being a professional-grade tool built specifically for the rigors of constant travel and daily abuse, it remains remarkably portable. It folds down quickly into a manageable size, making it perfect for race day support or as the centerpiece of a dedicated home workshop. 1. Topeak PrepStand Ute Pro. When I first got my hands on this stand, I knew it was going to be different, but I was not prepared for just how profoundly it changes the maintenance game, especially for heavy modern bikes. E-bikes and long-travel mountain bikes have gotten incredibly heavy, making hoisting them into a traditional stand a back-breaking chore. Topeak has completely solved this problem by integrating a pressurized nitrogen lift cartridge directly into the main pillar of the stand. Testing the lift assist was an absolute revelation that blew me away. I clamped in a heavy 50-pound electric mountain bike with the stand in its lowest position. Stepping on the built-in foot pedal releases the internal cartridge, and with barely a push from one hand, the stand effortlessly elevates the massive bike up to eye level. It completely eliminates the physical strain of lifting heavy rigs, saving your lower back and making maintenance completely accessible for everyone. The clamping head itself is equally premium, featuring a highly durable, non-marring jaw that confidently secures massive frames without a hint of slipping. The overall build quality is nothing short of extraordinary. The base features massive, oversized aluminum legs that provide a sprawling foundation capable of stabilizing up to 77 pounds of weight with zero drama. But the true genius lies in the smartly integrated transport wheel at the base. Once your heavy bike is mounted, you don't have to carry the stand to move it into better lighting. You simply tilt it back on its wheels and roll the entire setup across the garage effortlessly. The Topeak PrepStand Ute Pro is not just a repair stand, it is a heavy-duty workstation that anticipates and solves every modern mechanical frustration. Outro. That's all for today, folks.